The first glimpse. The year was 2145, and humanity had achieved the unthinkable, creating the first stable wormhole. It was a moment of pure scientific triumph, something that had been nothing more than theory for centuries. But as the first crew set foot on this new front of space, they had no idea what they were truly about to awaken. The first wormhole test was simple, a small jump to a nearby star system. What was supposed to be a routine experiment turned into a catastrophic anomaly. As the crew activated the wormhole, a ripple tore through the fabric of space-time, and the universe for the first time responded. The transmission from Earth, initially broadcast as a test signal, rippled across the void like a shockwave, reaching distant ears in the galaxy. At first, the message was vague, filled with encrypted codes and strange frequencies that no one understood. But then the cryptic sequence began repeating over and over again, "We are coming." A chilling silence fell across the stars. For months, no one paid much attention. But when the first alien ships, Zorvan scouts, encountered the remnants of the human signal, their communication networks crackled with static. That moment was the turning point. The galaxies were no longer isolated. The message was clear. Humanity had just crossed the threshold of something much bigger than they could have ever imagined. Deep within the hidden corners of space, ancient species who had once ruled the stars began to stir. The universe wasn't just about to learn of humanity, it was about to fear it. The very laws of space itself had been altered, and no one knew the full consequences of what had been unleashed. Unseen forces as the message was received. Certain alien races began to take the human threat seriously. The Zorvans, an ancient warrior race known for their ruthless tactics, immediately began preparing for war. Their leaders saw humanity's burgeoning power as an existential threat. They had once ruled over entire star systems with ease, but this new technology challenged their dominance. At the same time, the Oxyath, energy-based beings with no physical bodies, monitored the human advancements with growing unease. They had long considered themselves the supreme intelligence in the galaxy. Any challenge to their status was met with suspicion. The situation quickly escalated when, barely months after sending their first transmission, a human ship appeared on the edge of Zorvan space. The ship was small, hardly a threat on its own, but the way it arrived was the first sign of something far more terrifying. It had appeared out of nowhere, bypassing the defenses of an entire star system in an instant. The Zorvans were blindsided. Humanity had arrived, and the first test of their wormhole manipulation had been a success. But the ship's crew hadn't come to conquer. They had come to observe. They wanted to see how the galaxy would react. Unfortunately, that observation set off the first sparks of a wider conflict. The tipping point. The human experiments with wormhole technology soon turned from peaceful exploration to something much darker. At first, it had been an accident. A wormhole had inadvertently opened near a system populated by the Eldari, an ancient race who had ruled the galaxy eons ago. The Eldari were thought to be gone, their empire crumbled and forgotten. But the wormhole had awakened them from their long slumber. The Eldari, sensing an opportunity to reclaim their former glory, began their invasion. They came in full force, their fleets descending upon human colonies across the galaxy. Their ships, capable of decimating entire planets with a single strike, were met with human resistance. But the humans were outmatched. The universe seemed to hold its breath. But humanity wasn't finished. Their scientists, who had spent years refining the wormhole technology, discovered a new method, one that allowed them to not just travel, but to send entire fleets across space in the blink of an eye. No longer were the humans limited to a single entry point. They could strike anywhere, anytime. The first truly coordinated human offensive was launched. Using the power of wormholes, they disrupted Eldari communications and supply lines, catching their invaders by surprise. The Eldari realized they were fighting a much more unpredictable and dangerous enemy than they had ever imagined. But it was too late. Humanity had set the stage for an all-out galactic war. The galactic response, the destruction of Eldari strongholds and the growing power of the human fleet, prompted an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council, a body that represented the various alien races who had shared peace for millennia. But, as the council convened, it quickly became clear that the universe was divided. Some factions, like the Zorvans, wanted to engage humanity directly, while others, like the Oxyath, believed the human threat could be neutralized through diplomacy. In the meantime, humanity continued to refine its technology, rapidly accelerating its understanding of wormhole manipulation. The humans did not simply travel through space, they began to manipulate gravity itself. By altering the gravitational pull of entire sectors of space, they could redirect entire fleets into traps, or slow down enemy forces by collapsing time around them. The universe's remaining civilizations were no longer safe. The humans had cracked a secret that no one had thought possible. They could manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. The galactic response was swift, but it was not enough. For every battle won by the Allied forces, humanity grew stronger. In the Zorvan territories, entire fleets were trapped in gravitational loops. The Oxyath, masters of energy, found themselves struggling against an enemy who could alter the very properties of energy itself. Humanity's tactics were unconventional, unpredictable, and relentless. Soon, even the greatest minds of the galaxy were forced to acknowledge the terrifying truth: humanity could not be stopped. The unseen war, as the fighting escalated, humanity's power grew. The true potential of their technology was finally revealed when the first fully functional gravity bomb was deployed. This weapon, able to collapse the gravity field of entire star systems, was tested in the remote Tiburon sector. When it detonated, it created a singularity, a black hole where once there had been a thriving star. The destruction was not just physical, it was psychological. The universe realized that humanity was not merely interested in domination. They had no interest in negotiation, no desire for peace. They wanted control. They wanted the universe to fear them. The Zorvans retaliated, sending their most feared warships to strike at Earth itself. But when they arrived, they found nothing. Humanity had anticipated their arrival and, in a display of their newly refined technology, opened a wormhole that led the Zorvan fleet directly into the heart of a collapsing star. The Eldari, now facing the combined might of humanity and its allies, scrambled to organize a defense, but it was clear that their empire was crumbling. The universe was no longer the playground of the strongest civilizations. It had become humanity's to command. The galaxies tremble. The universal response had failed. The power that humanity had unleashed was beyond what any race had anticipated. Alien empires, once thought to be unassailable, were falling one by one. As the humans' control over wormhole technology deepened, they began to use it not just for warfare, but to influence trade routes, diplomatic relations, and even planetary climates. The Galactic Council, once a powerful entity of decision-making, now found itself rendered obsolete. There were whispers of an alliance, of a final stand against the humans, but the question now was not whether the alliance would form, but whether it was even possible to defeat humanity. The universe had trembled at the power of the human race. They had become a force that could rewrite the very laws of physics and reality. And as the galaxy stood on the precipice of destruction, one thing became clear. Humanity's rise was not a fleeting moment. It was the beginning of a new era. The power unleashed, the final weapon was revealed. Humanity had not just discovered the ability to manipulate wormholes, they had unlocked the power to create and control black holes. With their new weapon, the Event Horizon engine, humanity could create artificial black holes anywhere in the universe, swallowing entire star systems in a blink. As they demonstrated this terrifying power, the Galactic Council was forced into a final, desperate decision. Every race, every empire, every civilization that had once ruled the stars now found themselves in the shadow of a power so vast it threatened to swallow everything. The universe was faced with two options: submit to humanity's will or be erased. The final hour, the final confrontation was at hand. The Galactic Council had failed. The Zorvans, Oxyath, Eldari, and all other races who once dominated the stars had united in a last-ditch effort to stop the humans. Their combined fleets, their most sophisticated weapons, their last reserves of power, all had gathered in the galactic capital, the center of all life and knowledge in the universe. But nothing could have prepared them for what was about to happen. Humanity had learned from every battle, every failure, and every victory. Their final weapon, an artificial black hole, was ready. It was not just a weapon of destruction. It was a weapon of control. The humans had mastered not only space but time itself. The universe, once an infinite expanse, was now just a puppet in their hands. The human fleet arrived at the capital, silent and unmoving, as the sky above darkened with the presence of their ships. A single broadcast echoed through every communication channel. The end has come. No threats, no boasts, just the cold finality of a statement that carried the weight of inevitability. The universe watched, breathless, as the humans activated the Event Horizon engine. The capital, the heart of galactic civilization, was the first to witness the true power of humanity. A single pulse from the device and the fabric of space itself began to unravel. Stars flickered out like dying embers. Entire systems were swallowed by the black hole's pull, their existence erased in the blink of an eye. The galactic councils, desperate leaders screamed in vain, their final, futile attempts to deploy countermeasures falling apart, as humanity's wormholes tore apart their fleets and defenses. There was no escape. As the Event Horizon engine hummed louder, the black hole grew, consuming everything in its path. The light from the nearby stars began to bend and distort. Time itself seemed to slow, as though the very concept of existence was being rewritten. The last remnants of resistance melted away in the shadows of the singularity. And then, in the stillness of the collapsing universe, humanity spoke again. "We have arrived, and you will fear us." The capital was gone. The council was gone. The universe was left with one undeniable truth. Humanity had achieved what no other species could even dream of. They had not only conquered space, but they had conquered reality itself. The day the universe learned to fear humanity had arrived. And, with it, the age of human rule began.